The sun rose above the drought-stricken village, illuminating the cracked earth and dry, lifeless fields surrounding us. We wandered into the heart of the village, where a large tree stood, its leaves long gone. I noticed villagers gathering at the edge of their barren fields, their faces etched with worry. My heart felt the weight of their suffering, and I turned to the Buddha for guidance. He stood beside me, gazing at the lifeless tree with a calm and unwavering expression. "Master," I said, my voice heavy with sorrow, "how do we find gratitude amidst such hardship and despair?" The Buddha knelt by the roots of the withered tree, his fingers tracing its rough bark. "This tree stands as a reminder of resilience," he began, his voice gentle yet firm. "Even in times of great challenge." The villagers slowly approached, drawn by the tranquility of his presence and the wisdom in his words. Buddha paused, his eyes steady and calm, conveying compassion. I guided Ananda to reflect on the desires that governed his journey and filled his heart with unease. I watched as the villagers exchanged uncertain glances, their gaze shifting between the tree and the Buddha. He turned to them, his eyes soft and compassionate, his words flowing like a calm stream. "We must learn to see beyond the surface," the Buddha said, "to recognize the hidden strength within what seems to be failing." I felt my own perspective begin to shift as I considered his words. As if a veil had been lifted, the villagers began murmuring among themselves, their voices carrying a mix of curiosity and hope. The Buddha gestured toward the cracked earth, where small sprouts struggled against the arid soil. "Gratitude is not reserved for times of abundance," he said, "but for the resilience that sustains us even in scarcity." One villager stepped forward, holding a handful of seeds, her expression one of tentative determination. "These seeds are all we have left," she said, "but we will plant them and trust in their strength to grow." The Buddha knelt beside her, offering a smile that seemed to radiate warmth. "Plant them with gratitude," he said, "for their potential to nurture life, even in this dry season." The villagers began to gather their remaining seeds, inspired by the woman's courage and the Buddha's teachings. I watched as they worked together, their spirits lifting in the face of adversity. The Buddha turned to me, his gaze steady and kind. "Gratitude is a choice," he said, "a lens through which we view the world and find peace." I nodded, feeling a profound sense of understanding and connection to the wisdom he shared. "Indeed," the Buddha said, setting the bowl down gently. "So why, then, do you cling to perfection in yourself?" His question hung in the air, a note of clarity that resonated through the tangled thoughts crowding my mind. The villagers joined him, their voices rising in unity, expressing gratitude not for their circumstances but for their ability to endure. I felt the power of their collective spirit, the strength of their gratitude, and the impact of the Buddha's teachings. That night, I slept beneath the tree, my heart filled with a sense of peace I had not felt before. The villagers continued their efforts to plant seeds, their determination reflecting the lessons they had learned. Buddha sat still, embodying the calm he imparted. His disciples sat in quiet reflection, immersed in thoughts provoked by his teachings. Another day, another morning, the Buddha walked quietly through the drought-stricken village. His disciples followed, their steps slow with doubt. The villagers, thin and weary, offered sparse alms as best they could. Small bowls held grains of rice, fragments of hope shared with trembling hands. Ananda, troubled by the meager offerings, looked at his bowl and felt sorrow. "Master," he said softly, "how can we feel gratitude for what barely sustains us?" The Buddha turned, his gaze steady, his voice gentle as flowing water. "Ananda," he said, "a gift is measured not by its size, but by its intention." The disciples gathered closer, sensing the wisdom about to unfold in the Buddha's words. "Let me share with you a story," the Buddha began, sitting under the shade of a brittle tree. Once, in a faraway kingdom, lived a generous king surrounded by wealth, the Buddha said. His voice steady. Lavish gifts adorned his halls, from golden statues to glittering jewels offered by merchants and nobles. The disciples listened, their curiosity piqued by the unfolding story, their bowls of rice untouched. His disciples turned their gazes from the water to him, waiting for the wisdom he would impart. Buddha continued, "The river flows toward its destiny, never hesitating, yet it does not resist the rocks within its path." One day, a poor farmer approached the palace carrying a single ripe mango in his weathered hands. The Buddha's expression softened, mirroring the simplicity of the farmer's gesture. The farmer, though possessing little, gave the mango with a heart full of gratitude and humility. The disciples leaned forward, absorbing the significance of the offering shared with purity of intention. Frustration overwhelmed him. He sought solutions by cursing his fate and blaming the heavens. Buddha paused, allowing the weight of the tale to settle upon his audience before continuing with calm clarity. The disciples pondered the story, their thoughts turning to the alms offered by the villagers. Gratitude lies not in the abundance of the gift, but within the heart that accepts it, the Buddha explained. Ananda looked at his bowl, its sparse contents suddenly imbued with meaning he had not seen before. Even the smallest offering, when given with kindness, can sustain the spirit more deeply than a feast given with obligation, said the Buddha. A villager approached timidly, bowing with humility, holding a single piece of dried fruit in her hand. "Master, I offer this with gratitude. Though it is small," she whispered. The Buddha received the offering, his smile kind and his hands steady. "Thank you," he said, accepting the gift, his warmth soothing her tired heart. "This fruit, shared from scarcity, carries the richness of compassion," he said, addressing both the disciples and villagers. "In receiving this gift, let us reflect on the interconnectedness it represents," the Buddha continued. The disciples nodded, their hearts softening as they observed the significance of each shared gesture. A young boy, his clothes patched but his eyes bright, approached with a handful of grains. "This is all I have, but please take it," he said, his voice carrying innocence and generosity. The Buddha placed his hand on the boy's head, his touch gentle yet affirming. "Your offering carries more wealth than you know," said the Buddha, his words resonating deeply within the gathering. "From a heart that gives freely, gratitude flourishes like a seed watered by compassion," said the Buddha. The disciples began to eat, their appreciation of the offerings transforming their humble meal into nourishment of the soul. Gratitude expands when shared, nourishing both the giver and the receiver in unspoken harmony, said the Buddha. Buddha gestured toward the river once more, a serene smile softening his features as he elaborated further. Water teaches us humility. It flows low, yet it is the strongest force, capable of carving even the hardest stone. Even in times of scarcity, gratitude creates abundance, said the Buddha, his message profound in its simplicity. Ananda turned to the villagers, bowing in respect, his bowl now a symbol of interconnectedness. "Master," Ananda said, "I now understand that gratitude transforms even the smallest gift into sustenance for the spirit." A woman approached, her eyes filled with tears, her hands trembling as she held out a cloth-wrapped parcel. "This bread was made from the last flour we had," she said, her voice shaking with emotion. The Buddha accepted the parcel, his hands steady and his gaze warm. "Thank you for your offering," he said, his voice unwavering. "Your generosity amidst hardship shines brighter than the wealthiest treasures," said the Buddha. "Master," he asked, "how did the farmer achieve such a remarkable feat amidst the difficulties of the journey?" The Buddha's gaze softened as he replied. The farmer's gaze remained fixed forward, unwavering, focused on reaching home despite the rocky terrain. His words planted seeds of reflection within the villagers and his disciples alike. A farmer, his hands calloused and his face lined, stepped forward with a basket of wilted vegetables. "This is all we could gather from our field, Master," he said, bowing humbly. The Buddha took the basket, his expression serene as he accepted the humble offering. Another day unfolded, and Buddha and his disciples walked on, their footsteps imbued with mindful purpose. The river, a silent companion, continued its endless journey, reflecting the teachings etched within their souls. Another day unfolded, the journey bringing Buddha and his disciples to a bustling village filled with eager faces and stories. Villagers gathered around them, seeking guidance and solace, their eyes reflecting hope and curiosity for wisdom. "Even this gesture carries the weight of a kind heart," he said, his words embracing the child. Gratitude can be found in unexpected gifts, for its essence is in connection, not material value, said the Buddha. Ananda looked at the villagers, observing how each small act of giving brought moments of peace and unity. "Master," Ananda said, "can gratitude transform suffering as deeply as it transforms scarcity?" The Buddha turned to Ananda, his expression contemplative as he spoke. "Gratitude does not erase suffering, but it allows us to see beyond its shadow," he said. "Through gratitude, we find strength to endure and compassion to uplift others," said the Buddha. A bird landed on the edge of a nearby roof, its feathers ruffled but its gaze curious. "Even nature teaches gratitude through its resilience," said the Buddha, his eyes observing the bird. The disciples turned their gaze to the bird, its presence offering quiet lessons in endurance. "Gratitude is the thread that binds all life together," said the Buddha, his words carrying timeless truth. As the sun set, the villagers gathered around the Buddha, their spirits lifted despite their hardships. The disciples listened intently, their understanding of gratitude deepening through the day's teachings. "Gratitude is not fleeting. It is the foundation upon which we build hope and connection," said the Buddha. The villagers bowed, their hearts filled with quiet reverence for the wisdom shared amidst their struggles. By accepting impermanence, we can open our hearts to the present moment and cherish every fleeting connection, Buddha explained. The villagers nodded, their minds and hearts opening to his profound wisdom. The villagers watched as the Buddha and his disciples walked away, their footsteps echoing wisdom shared. The drought-stricken village, though still facing trials, felt the seed of hope growing steadily within its heart. Another day, another moment. The long-awaited rains blessed the village with healing waters. Rivers swelled, fields flourished, hope rekindled everywhere. The villagers celebrated, their laughter mingling with the sound of falling rain and rushing streams. The disciples joined in, their joy echoing through the restored village. Yet, amidst the jubilance, the Buddha sat quietly by the riverbank, his gaze calm and contemplative. Ananda noticed his master's stillness and approached, his heart curious and seeking understanding. "Master," Ananda said, "should we not rejoice in this moment of abundance and offer our gratitude wholeheartedly?" The Buddha nodded gently, his expression serene yet purposeful in its depth. "Indeed, Ananda," said the Buddha, "this is a time for celebration, but also for reflection and understanding." The Buddha gestured to the flowing river before them, its waters shimmering with the renewed vitality of life. "This river carries more than water. It carries lessons born of its journey through drought and abundance," said the Buddha. The disciples gathered around the Buddha, their hearts eager to absorb the wisdom he would impart. "Let us not forget the hardships faced during the drought, for they teach endurance and compassion amid adversity," said the Buddha. The villagers, hearing the Buddha's words, quieted their celebration and approached to listen. Hardship reveals the truth of impermanence, guiding us to accept change and cherish each fleeting moment, said the Buddha. A young man stepped forward, his hands trembling as he held a bowl filled with clear water from the river. Master, the water seems sacred now. After all we have endured, said the man, his voice filled with awe. The Buddha accepted the bowl, his hands steady and his gaze kind as he observed the water. This water reminds us of our interconnectedness, flowing through each of us and sustaining life without discrimination, said the Buddha. The disciples watched as the Buddha lifted the bowl to the heavens, offering it in silent reverence. May this act symbolize gratitude not only for abundance, but for the strength gained during times of scarcity, said the Buddha. A woman approached, her voice soft yet filled with heartfelt emotion, holding a small jar of collected rainwater. We saved this during the first rainfall, remembering the teachings shared in drought, said the woman. The Buddha received the jar, his expression reflecting deep respect and understanding of the gesture. Gratitude is not reserved solely for times of plenty. It sustains us when abundance fades and challenges arise, said the Buddha. Ananda turned to the villagers, his heart now reflecting the teachings with clarity and conviction. Master, Ananda said, how can we ensure gratitude flows as steadily as this river, even in times of despair? The Buddha turned to Ananda, his gaze compassionate and wise. Gratitude must be cultivated as a practice, not as a fleeting feeling, for it roots us in the present moment, said the Buddha. The disciples bowed their heads, reflecting on the truth of the Buddha's words spoken with steady conviction. Just as this river nourishes the fields, gratitude nourishes the soul, helping us grow amidst adversity and change, said the Buddha. A child knelt by the riverbank, her hands cupped to gather water, her face bright with wonder. Master, does the river feel gratitude for the rain that fills it? Asked the child, her voice sweet and sincere. The Buddha smiled gently, his response thoughtful and kind. The river simply flows, accepting both drought and abundance as part of its existence, said the Buddha. Similarly, we must learn to flow through life, embracing both joys and sorrows without resistance, said the Buddha. The disciples pondered this wisdom, their hearts turning to the challenges and transformations they had witnessed in the village. Each drop of water contributes to the whole. Each act of gratitude strengthens the bond connecting all living beings, said the Buddha. A bird dipped into the river, its feathers glistening as it rose, embodying the cycle of nature's rhythm. Even in nature, gratitude is expressed through resilience and interdependence, said the Buddha, his gaze following the bird's path. The villagers sat quietly, their hearts stirred by the Buddha's teachings and the reflection they inspired. A farmer approached, his hands stained with soil, holding a handful of seeds ready to be planted. These seeds, saved from last season, will now grow, thanks to the rains that have blessed our land, said the farmer. The Buddha took the seeds and held them in his palm, his expression contemplative and serene. Gratitude transforms potential into abundance, teaching us to honor both the seed and the harvest it brings, said the Buddha. The disciples observed the seeds with newfound appreciation, understanding the connection between hope and gratitude. Each seed planted is an act of faith, a gesture of trust in the impermanence and cycles of life, said the Buddha. The rain continued to fall softly, nourishing the land and soothing the hearts of the villagers. Let us reflect on the impermanence of this rain, for its cessation teaches us to cherish its presence, said the Buddha. Ananda knelt beside the Buddha, his gaze fixed on the flowing river, his thoughts profound and introspective. Master, Ananda said, how can we express gratitude for impermanence when its very essence carries loss and change? The Buddha turned to Ananda, his gaze filled with compassion and unwavering wisdom. Impermanence reveals the beauty of existence, for its fleeting nature calls us to treasure each moment deeply, said the Buddha. A young girl approached, her hands holding flowers she had gathered from the fields now blooming with vitality. These flowers blossomed after the rains came, bringing joy to all who see them, said the girl, her voice bright. The Buddha received the flowers, his touch gentle and his smile warm, acknowledging the symbolism they carried. These blossoms remind us to celebrate renewal and to honor the cycle of growth and decay, said the Buddha. The disciples looked at the flowers, their vibrant colors representing the resilience and renewal of life. Gratitude embraces all cycles, for each phase carries wisdom and beauty in its impermanence, said the Buddha. The villagers listened intently, their hearts opening to the wisdom shared in the moments of reflection and calm. Let us remember the drought not with despair, but with gratitude for the lessons it brought to our lives, said the Buddha. A man approached holding an intricately carved wooden cup, his face lined with wisdom earned through hardship. This cup, carved during the drought, now holds water from the first rains that blessed our village, said the man. The disciples reflected on the analogy, their hearts steadying with renewed hope amidst their struggles. The Buddha gestured towards the still waters of the lake, inviting the disciples to observe its silent wisdom. The lake, he said, remains calm within, regardless of what disturbs its surface. You must cultivate this inner calm. The villagers bowed, their hearts brimming with reverence and appreciation for the wisdom shared in abundance. The Buddha stood, his movements graceful and deliberate, his gaze steady as he prepared to leave the riverbank. Let gratitude guide our actions, connecting us through compassion and sustaining us through the impermanence of life's journey, said the Buddha. The river flowed on, its waters carrying the hopes and reflections of the village now united in gratitude. The disciples followed the Buddha, their footsteps steady, their hearts full of understanding and peace. The villagers watched as the Buddha and his disciples walked away, their presence leaving an enduring legacy of wisdom. Through the rain and river, gratitude flowed as an unbroken thread, connecting all beings and moments shared. Thank you for watching. Buddha's teachings are always with you. Subscribe to our channel and we will see you in the next video.